I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this casting. Is Isabella Merced, uh, you know, headlining a House of the Dead reboot from Paul W.S. Anderson. I know there's a lot of red flags for a lot of people with the shit I just said. Trust me, I know. I don't think it's too many red flags because regardless of how people may feel about Paul W.S. Anderson and his body of work over the years, I do appreciate his, like, I guess his ambition, for lack of a better word, man. Paul W.S. Anderson, it's already it's direct nostalgia for me. Mortal Kombat, is it a perfect comic book film? No, but in '95, me being a young boy and seeing that shit for the first time, Mortal Kombat came to life for me, man. Annihilation, that's a different story. Paul W.S. Anderson didn't really have shit to do with that. But, Event Horizon, his most underrated film, I think Death Race is pretty underrated. I thought that was a solid remake for the most part. Then you get into, like, the Resident Evil movie. Alien vs. Predator, not a fan of that movie. I don't like it. It's got some amazing ideas on paper, but I think execution-wise, just terrible. But then you get into the Resident Evil movies. Yeah, they're not great, but it's my favorite guilty pleasure franchise, man. As bad as those movies get, I think they do get progressively crazier and worse. I hate to say that because there's something I love about all of them, especially Extinction and Retribution. But Paul W.S. Anderson's strong suit is not video game adaptations. It's not. Even Monster Hunter, man. I tried to watch Monster Hunter, y'all, just going into it blind as a fan of creature feature movies. Never played the game. And I was like, well, Mila Jovovich, Megan Good, T.I., Tony Jod, Ron Perlman. I was like, hold on now. Like, we might have something here, man. That movie might be one of Paul W.S. Anderson's worst films, man. I know a lot of people out there are like, well, that's saying something. But it's just a bad movie. This one, I think the bar set so low that there's nowhere to go but up, man. Let's think about and I talked about this before. I talked about the House of the Dead reboot news before, man. I said this is already better than the Uwe Boll movie, the live action movie, man, because I tricked myself into thinking that was a cool movie when it came out, and then the more and more you watch it, the more and more there's like a lot of shame and just a lot of embarrassment when you just see what Uwe Boll did or what he didn't do. He just didn't give a fuck. But Paul W.S. Anderson said something really interesting when he was being interviewed about this movie, and he said he wants to capture this movie in real time. And shout out to my boy Johnny Zuko, man. Also shout out to everybody that tuned into RMZ Live yesterday morning. I was talking to him about this movie yesterday when we were doing the live stream, and I said that I interpreted what Paul W.S. Anderson said as he's gonna make this movie kind of like the movie Mads. I don't know if anybody has seen Mads. It is a single shot. Now there might be little tricks and cuts and edits here and there to make it look like a continuous shot, but for the most part, people, you are watching a single shot zombie epidemic horror film. Fast paced, doesn't let up in certain sequences, man. It is going from one person who gets infected to the next until you get to that ending, man. It is damn near, I don't know if I gave it a 10 out of 10. I probably should have. If Paul W.S. Anderson manages to give us a House of the Dead reboot that is a one take shot movie, it's already on the verge of being a home run for me as far as video game adaptations go, because I was watching some gameplay from the Dreamcast version of House of the Dead 2 yesterday, and that's really what you're doing. You see the crosshairs of the characters you're playing with, but you're just venturing through these grounds and through these catacombs and through the house and in the alleyways and in the tunnels and underwater. You're doing all of this in real time, one take type of style. I'm telling y'all, man, if Paul W.S. Anderson does this in this and has this style of filmmaking, he's reinvented himself. And all is forgiven at that point. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, man. But I know it's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, House of the Dead is trash. The last one was trash. This is going to be trash. People are going to say, oh, Paul W.S. Anderson's trash. His track record's trash. There's going to be a lot of people mad about this. Oh, there's a brown girl being the lead in the House of the Dead reboot. Must be woke. DEI. It's going to be those dickheads out there that's going to say that, too. But I think she's actually having a hell of a run right now because Alien Romulus, she was solid in that. I think she was Hawk Girl in the new Superman movie. She was solid enough in that. I wish she got more to do. I know a lot of people complained about her character. I didn't really see a problem with how James Gunn depicted her on screen. It wasn't really, I'm not really a fucking Hawk Girl fan like that. I don't have posters on the wall for me to be in my feelings about it. But I want to see what she does, man. She's a I feel like a young enough actress to where, you know, you've been in these supporting roles in these really big existing franchises over the years, but I want to see how she does as a lead. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how she does when the pressure is on. I also want to see how Paul W.S. Anderson puts this cast together, man. And because you know what? Don't put Mila Jovovich in here. I know that's your wife. I know you don't want to sleep on the couch. I know you don't want to be in the doghouse, but do not put Mila Jovovich in this. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know Paul W.S. Anderson has his regulars that he puts in his films. Colin Salmons is one of them. The guy that gets like the laser grid against him in the first Resident Evil movie, because he pops up in Alien vs. Predator, Resident Evil Retribution. So he's got his familiars that he likes to have in the movies. But the moment I see Mila Jovovich pop up in this casting, as much as I love her as a female action star, she's one of the pioneers, low key, ever since Fifth Element. You know, regardless of what people say, but I'm just gonna have a side eye if they decide to cast her in this, man, because I just feel like House of the Dead, we don't need it. We don't need it because Paul W.S. Anderson, the moment he cast her in this, if he cast her in this, he gonna break out the leather outfits, you know, them sexy leather outfits for her to dress up in and figure out what she want to do. He gonna break out the fucking the dually automatics. He gonna break out the wire work, and she gonna be doing backflips and plies and all this Circus Soleil shit all over the place. That was cool for how ridiculous the Resident Evil series was, but I don't think House of the Dead really needs that. I did see some of the concept art, man. If y'all have not seen the concept art for the monsters that are going to be featured in this movie, they look really fucking cool. So it's going to be cool to see whether how much we go practical, how much we go CG. I'm really curious to see this, man, because I do think that video game adaptations have gotten a lot better in the last decade. You know, I don't think we've reached that point, but I do feel like movies like, regardless of what people say, I think movies like Mortal Kombat, Sonic, Super Mario, I feel like they're getting it right. I feel like Tomb Raider got it right too, but I don't think it made enough money for them to continue on with the Alicia Vikander reboot, man. But you know, I'm excited for this. I want to see what Paul W.S. Anderson brings to yet another video game adaptation, and I want to see if you gonna sink or swim. Like, what are we gonna do here, man? But let me know in the comments. Are y'all excited for House of the Dead? Do y'all care? And have y'all played House of the Dead 3? Because I haven't. Like, I really haven't, and I feel ashamed of that too.